Okay, so Tony, you always talk about having lost the feeling of being a separate person. What does this mean exactly?
Well, there isn't anyone who loses being a separate person. It is that the illusion of there being a separate person is no longer there, but there isn't something that knows that. There's no awareness of that. It's the end of that which knows or is aware of something else being in reality. So it's the end of anything that would recognize something like recognize the idea of not being a me anymore. Some people mistake this message for some idea that they have to learn how not to be me, and it's nothing like that. It's a dropping away of an illusory energy, and it can't be described.
Is there anything you can do for losing
No, there isn't
feeling?
anything you do because there isn't anyone there. Liberation is the realization, at the point of liberation, there is no one and nothing to be liberated. So there never was anyone there that could have ever done anything about being liberated.
Okay, so I hear this message for years now.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Well, where from?
For instance, from Jim. And
Oh, Jim, yeah. Jim!
No, and I also have assisted at your meetings.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Right, okay.
and when I hear this, then I always think, okay, this sounds very attractive to me, but I don't get it.
No, you never will.
Okay.
But the seeker or the me or the self will never get this, because the seeker lives in an illusory reality of its own, like a dreamt reality, and it can't hear this message at all. We're going to go into a meeting in a little while, and there'll be 60 people there, and all the time there's a me in the body or self, it won't hear this message. Something else goes on in the meeting to do with a resonance that's beyond the self. So me never gets this. There's nothing in there for me.
So, when I take part in the meetings and I just can't express it in another way, I have this feeling that I don't get it.
No,
okay?
you're absolutely
okay.
right. Yeah.
So then I think, well, what shall I go to the meetings for?
Well, you come, but people come to the meetings to get something, and it's possible that they might go away really realizing, or at least understanding, that there's nothing to get. There isn't anything to get.
So this would be a good conclusion?
It could be, except that people go away understanding there's nothing to get, but because they're still within the dream energy of being separate, they still seek. Until that dies, this is about the death or the end of an illusory energy, and until that energy dies, they'll always be seeking. So even though somebody could understand that what they're seeking they will never find, they'll still go on seeking. They can't stop it. The nature of me or the self is just to seek. Me has lost home, so me can only look for home again.
So this is a kind of energy that will always go on seeking.
Yeah. It's a contracted energy that seems to have lost something. It seems to be in a lost dream of its own, in which everything that arises is separate and dissatisfying. So there's a constant seeking in me and the self to come back home. But me and the self can't come back home. Until me or the self dies, it still will go on looking.
So if you have lost this feeling of being a separate person, when this energy, this contraction has come to an end, in what way are you feeling different?
No, there's no one left. Liberation is the end of that which experiences life, or thinks it knows that life is happening. So it's the end of anything that would know anything in terms of knowing there's no self. It's the end of an illusion, and all that's left is indescribable. It can't be described, what's left. But there isn't anyone in it. There's no one that has it. There just is what is. That's the nearest words I can get to it is, that's all that's left is what is and is not. It's a mystery. It's the mystery that everyone has sought for thousands of years and talked about. But it's the one mystery that can't be known.
I always think, what does it have to do with my life here and now when I hear this message, and I feel that I just don't get it anyway.
No, it has nothing to do with your life and everything to do with it. As a separate person, you think you live your life. You dream that you choose to live your life in a certain way, and that life is happening to you. Life is happening to the me. It's happening to me. I'm experiencing life. When that constricted energy suddenly collapses, all that's left is life, and no one living in it. There's just life. But it's the walls and the room and the marmalade and motor cars and the stars are all still there. The body's still there, but there's nothing in it anymore. There's nothing that thinks it knows the stars in the universe. There's just the stars in the universe.
Okay, but what does it help me if you describe?
It doesn't help you. No.
Yes, but this is my question.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I already heard a lot of descriptions of, yes, it's all, then afterwards, what is left is all there is. But if the feeling of being a separate person just doesn't go away, if this energy of seeking just
Stays there.
Yes. So this makes me angry.
Yes, it would do.
Yes.
This is a very rare message. It's always been around, but very hidden. There are many, many communications which seek to help you as a seeker find something. This is a very rare message which offers the seeker nothing at all. When people come and hear this communication, then the seeking energy is totally starved. There's no help here available because it's recognized that there's no one to help and that there isn't anywhere to move to, that everything is already fulfilled.
So if everything is already all right, would you say it like this?
Well,
because I don't feel like this.
No, you wouldn't, because you feel that everything isn't all right or fulfilled, because the seeker is living in a separate dream in which nothing is fulfilled. Everything is unsatisfying. What's being suggested here is that it's possible that energy of separation can suddenly simply dissipate. What goes on in there is not about what is said. It's what goes on in there, or here right now, is there's an energy that arises, which is the boundless energy of beingness, and it meets a dreamt energy, which is a contracted energy, and it's possible, not guaranteed, it's possible that contracted energy, but that's beyond words. So the most powerful thing that goes on in there is beyond words. It's energetic. Because essentially, separation is energetic. It's a held in. And no words will ever undo that. There's no me. It's an illusion. They're just words. But what can suddenly, apparently seem to happen is the evaporation of that contraction into the boundless freedom, which can't be described or known.
So are you saying that when people come and take part in your meetings, it's more likely that this contracted energy will explode?
It's possible, but they aren't my meetings, and this energy has nothing to do with anybody. There isn't somebody here that has that energy. There just is no one here anymore. There's nothing here in terms of separation. There's just no thing. There's boundlessness. But it isn't my boundlessness, it's just boundlessness. All there is in this room is boundlessness, but that which is contracted comes and says to the boundless, I feel contracted. And the boundless says, well, you don't need to, it's an illusion. Now, it's possible that in some way or other, those words can dislodge an idea about being someone, but also the most powerful thing that's going on right now is that contracted energy can simply melt into the whole. But it doesn't have to be at a meeting, it can be down at the bus stop in Vienna. It doesn't, because everything is only the boundless already. And when in the meeting I say to people, or this says to people, look, there is only the beloved. The beloved is speaking to you right now. The way you sit, what you feel, what you hear is the beloved. It's never left you. So you don't need to go anywhere to find it. That's amazing. And sometimes something resonates with it. There's a resonance. Oh, so it's not after I've meditated or purified my mind or done self-inquiry. It's none of those things. It's here already. It never left. I've been rushing around looking for it. And it's here. That's amazing.
It makes me angry to hear you saying this because I just have
yes, it makes a lot of people angry.
Yes.
Lots of people get very angry about this message, and a lot of teachers or parent teachers who try to help people do not like this message at all. I think it's not compassionate. It's so sweet. It has no compassion. It's the only compassion. The only compassion there is that which destroys the illusion of separation, of imprisonment. That's the only compassion. That leaves freedom, unconditional love. But it does make people angry. It makes me angry, because me feels impotent.
Yes, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah! Absolutely.
Yes, it feels like as if you are on an island over there and I am on an island over here.
No, fine.
And I just can go to your island, and this makes me angry. This is like a promise of paradise, but I can't go over there to you. So this, yes.
No, absolutely. But strangely enough, it's interesting you put it like that, because there isn't an island here. There is only paradise. There isn't anything here. There's only paradise. This is paradise.
But how does it come that I don't feel like this?
Because you're looking for it. You're trying to find something. You live in a subject-object reality. It's a dreamt reality in which you're the subject and everything else is an object that's separate. So you then objectify liberation. Oh, I want to find it. It's a thing I can find. Tony Parsons has found it. I haven't actually. But Tony Parsons, so I can find it. It's an object that I can find. Never. It's not an object because it's everything already. So for the seeker, that which it seeks hides from it, from the seeker, by already being everything. Can't be found because how can it be found if it's everything already? How can you find it if it's everything?
You mentioned that there is no compassion in this message?
No, a lot of people try to attack this message by saying that it isn't compassionate. But I think the sort of compassion they're talking about is what I call more of a complicity to help people in their dream, to have a better dream. For me, teaching is about helping somebody to remain in the dream and have a better dream. Well, the open secret communication, which isn't mine, simply destroys or deconstructs the illusion that there is anyone in a dream or in a prison. That, as far as this is concerned, is the only compassion. Whereas the compassion teachers are talking about is helping people.
Making
this doesn't
therapy,
help people, it doesn't recognize that there's anyone to help.
So, during the meetings, in what way are you helping the people to wake up from this?
That is absolutely what I'm saying. There isn't anyone to help wake up. All that's happening here is the exposure of the illusion that there is such a thing as a seeker that's real, that can find something else called liberation that's real. This is exposing the absolute fallacy of that idea.
And if people can't hear the
They go on
message,
seeking, getting angry. But the interesting thing is that over the apparent time this has been communicated, there's been many droppings away of the sense of a person. There's nothing there. So somewhere there's a sense of this beyond. The me can never hear this, but something else happens energetically, quite a lot energetically, where the whole seeking energy just collapses. And then people, or apparent people, phone me up and say, Tony, this is amazing, because I can't describe this to you. You can't describe it to me, I can't describe it to you now. It's all over. All there is what is. But I can't even tell you what that's like. It's very simple, very ordinary, and very obvious. But the difference between that and the experience of being a seeker is immeasurable.
in what way are you living differently since this happened to you?
In that I'm not living life. Life is just lived. There's no one in here doing it. There's no one in here sitting right now. There's nothing in here that's responding to this out of anything that's held or known here. This is speaking out of nothing. It's not speaking out of anything that's known or held on to. So living is, all there is living, happening, apparently.
This is about like giving up resistance? Or
No, it's not about anything that you could describe. It's not about acceptance. You know, some people talk about, oh, come and accept that you are one, or be open to the idea. And that's something else that the seeker would have to do and is totally incapable of doing. The seeker can't be open or accepting because it's in an apparent jail, so it's trying to break out of a jail. So this is not about being open or surrendering to life. There's just nothing left but life. Life just seems to go on happening.
So it wouldn't be right to say that there is no resistance left?
No. Well, there isn't anything that resists, and there isn't anything that now lives in the separate dream. So that's all, that illusion, which was never real, has simply is not there anymore. And all there is life happening. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing anything. It's freedom, but not for anyone. It's living in unconditional love, but not for anyone. When there's nothing left, then there's everything. All there is everything.
Yes, it makes me sad because I feel like I don't get it. Every time when you are talking about it, or Jim,
you won't get it. You'll never get it. Unconditional love will in a sense continually deny that which seeks it. So that which seeks it lives in continual disappointment. Not always, but invariably, and sadness. Until suddenly that which lives in that sadness collapses into the arms of unconditional love. This is about death. It's not about being a better person or meditating more or being peaceful. It's about death. It's the end. This is the end.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.